Hey guys, I'm doing another vid. I'm going to do a quick 2-cent vid. You got to put your 2 cents and send it off to these entities when you want to do your mail. I'm going to start doing short vids on the General Post Office versus the United States Postal Service. And like I say, there's 2 jurisdictions, of course. And I guess in private international law, the states are foreign to each other, and in public international law, not so much. But I got the law up for the correct postage, and this type of stuff, small tips like this, really does make a difference because you think it doesn't add up. And the same thing can apply to certified mailings and registered mailings. But we're going to just focus on first class mailings, like with an envelope. You know, people are spending what, up to upwards to 50 cents per stamp. Terrible, that is a waste. And never mind the $3.10. So we're basically feeding the corporate system. People don't realize there are 2 post offices, you know, one constitutional and one corporate. So I'm going to put you onto an article that's going to show you a little bit of the syntax, because, you know, a lot of us that were into computers realize that syntax is everything. And all of those with our common sense still intact can see how, yeah, 2 cent, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can buy 2 cent stamps right from the USPS website. You just go to, you know, store. I'll bring it up closer. I like ordering my stamps online because they don't really have much of a selection. You'll see right here, USPS store.usps.com. I'll put the link below for you guys if you like. I can remember to. Sometimes I make these videos and then upload later on. I'll try my best, but you can see it up there, guys, right? Or you can just put usps.com/order stamps. They'll bring you right over here. And they have a lot of really beautiful stamps, some very collectibles. You know, it's a source of value as well. If you look up stamp revenue, stamps were known to have value, right? There's a lot of stamp collectors. So a lot of people use the Navajo one, which is really beautiful. You have, you know, you also have other ones too. This wouldn't be the same thing. This is for 2 ounces. But you got lemon if you want. Oh no, they got the Star Wars. Of course, they're rolling out the droids, guys. But this one's pretty good. I think it's like per sheet. And so you can get a few sheets, you know, and put them away. I like this one. This is the one that everyone's using. Literally, like per 6 ounce. Oh no, I think they say per half an ounce. I'll read you the law. Yes, per half ounce mail. It's just 2 stamps, but you have to label it correctly, and you have to write General Post Office over, you know, the address to and from the sender and the recipient. Okay, and there's just a certain syntax that helps, but it'll go through. And if you want to cite certain laws, I'll put one here and I'll show you. It's good to have the original source. I read this a few years back. I found this again. This is a really great reference, so I'll put it again, right? So it can really break it down. You know, why reinvent the wheel, right? United States Post Office, United States Postal Service. So domestic mail versus non-domestic mail. So underneath you would write non-domestic without the United States. And people who know the United States codes and things like that know the meaning. We have to look at their definitions of these words. Just like with the Bible, you got to go into what the Hebrew, right? Not what we think it is. The same thing. And this is a mind teaser in itself, because you got to pull laws from this way, and make a list. That way, when you write it down and do your documents, you'll start to remember more and more. You know, that's why practice is key. And it's all about status. Once again, your status or lack thereof comes into play, especially when you don't know what it is or who you are. Exactly. We all know about the all cap name being a straw man, and the way you're supposed to do, you know, because people forget when you're in school, a personal name is uppercase followed by lower cases, and that they use our name, our birth name, in all capitals. So not only is United States, people forget, look up, you know, in the codes, what is that, in Title 18, the definition, look up the definition of what the United States is. People get the United States of America confused with the United States, the company that's in D.C., that only has jurisdiction for 10 miles square, okay? And the rest of us are supposed to be state citizens. And that's per a case from Twining versus New Jersey, 211 U.S. 97 in 1908. That state citizens are the only ones living under free government, guys, whose rights are incapable of impairment by legislation or judicial decision. You know, but they have us saying, we're a U.S. citizen. Do you know it's against the law to call yourself a U.S. citizen? Because a U.S. citizen technically don't even exist. I mean, it's crazy what we're doing. So it's a private foreign bankrupt corporation. It's a continuing criminal enterprise. So by little things like even with this mail stuff, you're helping to not feed the wrong side of the law. We want to do everything we can to help the constitutional United States, the United States of America, not the foreign United States. Just because they bit off the name, right? People get so confused with the two. But it's a criminal enterprise run by sick, satanic people who are enslaving Americans because of the fact that almost all Americans are willfully, intentionally ignorant. The Zionist Jesuit crown banksters are holding almost everyone hostage prisoner by taking full advantage of the fact people can't seem to pound it through their thick skulls that all-cap John H. Doe is a resident alien of the District of Columbia, U.S. citizen, and lowercase John-Henry, Doe is a man on the land, a non-resident, non-citizen American national. Please comprehend this. You're not supposed to register to vote. You know how they're always pushing voting. Yeah, you're giving up a lot of rights for that bull crap. What, to vote in a corporate system? Right, that does stupid shit. Nor are you supposed to delude toward thinking you're a U.S. citizen, nor are you supposed to be paying income tax to the IRS from the compensation for your labor, nor are you supposed to be using Federal Reserve currency. Now, are you supposed to be paying corporate fees for mail? Yeah, we're paying corporate fees. If you really want to know, goes really into it, gives you a little bit of law too. I appreciate that. A U.S. citizen, upon leaving the District of Columbia, becomes involved in interstate commerce as a resident, does not have the common law right to travel of a citizen of one of the several states. That's a case from Hendrick versus Maryland, SC Reporters RD 610 to 625, a case from 1914. The term resident and citizen of the United States is distinguished from a citizen of one of the several states in that the former is a special class of citizen created by Congress. That's a case from U.S. versus Anthony 24, Federal 829, a case in 1873. Now in this article he talks about 3-cent stamps, but I learned that 3-cent stamps is more for a domestic thing, even though it will pass through. You actually don't even need that much. 2 cent, you know, when they say give your 2 cents, I mean, really, it's just the 2 cents that you need. And it'll keep you in a non-domestic status. So, anything outside of that, you know, because they trick us non-corporate employees of the U.S. into paying their corporation a fee for doing what they agreed to do for 3 cents. If you send your letter domestic, it's through the corporation and will currently cost 50 cents per ½ ounce. If you send your letter non-domestic or without the United States, their corporation, as a condition of purchase, is required to continue to deliver non-domestic mail for 3 cents per ½ ounce. Not the present code or domestic mail regulations. When the government agency U.S. Post Office was privatized in 1971, the government executive branch agency ceased to exist, and the duties and obligations thereof were taken over by the U.S. Postal Service, Inc., a private corporation. Their obligation is to continue to deliver non-domestic mail at the drop letter rate of 3 cents per 1 ounce or 6 cents per ounce. Non-domestic rate established by law, not the present code or domestic mail regulation. You know, so he tells you more of the history. Again, the law says 2 cents because it says domestic is for 3 cents. You know, so that's totally fine. It's up to, you know, I've done it with the 3 cents, and it's fine. It does work, but you only need the 2, and that way you can stay in the non-domestic jurisdiction. So the private corporation took over the previous government agency. It inherited the assets, quote-unquote, and liabilities, quote-unquote, of the former, quote-unquote, U.S. Post Office. So we have a general U.S. Post Office versus the U.S. Postal Service. So try to keep that in mind. One of the liabilities, quote-unquote, that is inherited is the obligation to continue to deliver, quote-unquote, non-domestic. Remember, the states are foreign to each other in private international law. So if you're sending a letter from Massachusetts to California, it's, you know, non-domestic. At the drop letter rate, so I guess you can drop it in the boxes, the blue boxes outside. You can do that. Of 2 cents per ½ ounce. So if you have a scale at home, you can totally weigh it up, throw it in the box. You don't even have to go to the teller. Okay? Or 4 cents per ounce non-domestic rate established by law, not the present code. So they are making money, fooling or tricking people into thinking that all mail is domestic mail. Mail matter sent between, and it's technically, you know, post, you know, mail is another term also, among to or from any government agency or wholly owned government corporation is within the corporate government and is domestic U.S. mail. Domestic means within their fictional territory. So we're trying to stay out of their clutches. Mail matter sent between and among to and from private real-life people. So it's good to put private and confidential. You can put private property and the law citing obstruction of mail. Okay, which I do have that on mine, which is 62 stat. You know how you always hear stat in these doctor shows. Yeah, the laws of the statutes, the public laws at large, you know. So for for obstruction mail, it's coded in the 62 stat 778 public law 103 to 322 obstruction of mail. So you can always write it in red on, you know, on the side, private property, you know, put a little penalty, whatever monetary value you would like, and make sure you spell it in upper and lower case letters. Post drop and not U.S. corporate government mail and is non-domestic. So this is the syntax needed. You put the name in upper and lower. You can put a hyphen in between the first and middle and a colon. between your given and your surname. People do that. Some people put a title. You can put a colon, beneficiary of age, executor if you would like, executorial representative of age, however you would like to represent, come in, right? And care of. And some people, like on the side of New York, they would put the RFD, like rural delivery type of deal, and then they would put the zip there inside all square brackets, which means some type of syntax, which means it's actually not there. If you look up the 4-corner rule, and then right underneath, just to help out the mail carrier, that way it can go through, smoothly. So you still have the numbers in there so they can get your mail where it needs to go, but it's not putting you in that federal jurisdiction, you know what I mean? And you can also write the words near non-domestic, like, before you put without the United States, you can put zip exempt. I've seen people put zip exempt, zip hyphen exempt. Okay, so like right on the side of the township where it says New York, you would put in square brackets the zip code in there. But they would put, I see people put RFD first. And it tells you what the government zip, because the zip codes weren't always there. If you look up the history, it's like a new invention. Okay, address equals place of residence. If you admit to having an address, you have admitted to being a resident and resident agent for the government corporation. You have just admitted to being liable and responsible for the debts of the corporation, your fair share, and under the 14th Amendment. If you are a corporate fiction person, subject, individual, you do have an address. Remember, your straw man name is your born name in capital letters. All credit application come addressed to you in your born name. Once you entered into a commercial contract with the credit card company, they have to use your straw man name, your corporation name, your fiction name. Individual equals corporate officer, agent, resident agent, member, citizen, licensee, voter, taxpayer. So it's a a fiction, mail matter equals sent between government created fictional venue zones, zonal improvement program. That's what the term zip means, with 2 capital letters and numbers. Fictional address, which is a violation of U.S. Code Title 18, Section 1341 and 1342. Know and demand your rights to not pay the U.S. Postal Private Corporation. So it was a great little read. And I have the law up too. It's great to go right to the source for some of these laws, because it's a trust action too. Oops. Of course I lost everything. A trust action. You can go to the statute of, the Library of Congress. And this is the U.S. Statutes at Large, Volume 12, 36 and 37, Congress. And I have the page opened up. You can go to the PDF. It's great, great, great. I'm actually going to download this bad boy. So under Section 23, I'm on. Let me try to bring it up, which is on page 451. It tells you, and this is all a trust action, if you know, so I'm going to have to take a screenshot of this, because I like to have the actual source. Let's see, in Section 23. And it be further enacted that the rate of postage on all letters not transmitted through the mails of the United States, remember we're without the United States, we're outside the 10 square mile jurisdiction in DC. If you don't know what that is, look up what the United States means and put United States definition USC. It will come up. Okay, it'll come up. but delivered through the post office or its carriers, commonly described as local or drop letters and not exceeding 1/2 ounce in weight, shall be uniform at 2 cents, and an additional rate for each 1/2 ounce or fraction thereof of additional weight to be, in all cases, prepaid by postage stamps affixed to the envelope of such letter, but no extra postage or carrier's fees shall hereafter be collected or charged upon letters delivered by carriers, nor upon letters collected by them for mailing or for delivery. And this is just a small thing of many, because people understand how everything's bankrupt and things are prepaid, and there is a system in place, and that things, why things so much or whatever. Yeah, because we have privatized entities coming here perpetrating, just like online, you got the real versus the fake, right? Well, yeah, the same thing with these the system. But I don't have the other one open, but it shows how it is a trust action. And I think it's in 12 Stat Chapter 71. I think Section 2. So maybe if I go to Section 2, because I think I'm in chapters. I think this is the same source. Let me just check Section 2 to see if it's the same source. I want to download this for myself. And go right to the law library, right online, and find out for yourself, And no matter who you listen to online, that's what you would like to do. Okay. Right here, Section 2, and it be further enacted that the Postmaster General, all postmasters and special agents, and all persons employed in the General Post Office, see how there's a General Post Office, or in the care, custody, or conveyance of the mail, hereafter appointed or employed, shall, previous to entering upon the duties assigned to them, or the execution of their trust. It's a trust action. They have a duty to perform and make sure they accept it, okay? And even on the letter, you can write postage paid, quote unquote. I'll show you all the laws referenced in that, and I'll even show you some of mine that I did, okay? But I just wanted to show you these laws that will back up this action, this trust action, okay? And before they shall be entitled to receive any emoluments thereof, in addition to the oath of office. So they have their oaths and duties, okay? And this is the General Post Office. So just so you know that there's a difference between the General Post Office and the United States Postal Service. And I found this on page 444. This is the Public Acts of the 37th Congress of the United States. I read from Section 2 and Section 23. Okay? Great sources. I'm actually going to take screenshots of that, and I'm going to download this. They give you an option to download. It's good to be wise and do this. So I will put, what is this, Chapter 72, Stats at large. I think that was 12, so I'm going to put 12, or volume 12. That way I can remember. And I'm just going to put this here for now because I'll come back to it later. Wonderful. That way you can save it. So I got it right here from the Library of Congress. It definitely will give credence to this action. Okay? That way you can know the difference between the two. Go on here. Purchase them. This is a great, great investment. There's so many really cool ones too, but you don't need to be paying 50 cents. That stuff does add up, and these laws do apply as well to certified mail-ins. I mean, I must have spent hundreds, and I mean, that stuff adds up. When people are acting like they don't got it like that, but we're blowing all kind of money on things that should have been taken care of, with a little bit of knowledge. I tell people all the time, why schlep at these freaking slave jobs and give your energy to a rotating wheel that it'll never be done, right? And instead, why don't you just use that energy to learn some of these laws, to be able to set off all of these things and to not have to expend your energy like you thought you did on a lot of this stuff, because we're actually feeding foreign, private, international corporations that seek to do us harm. So small steps like this, you're saving money, and you're helping the real republic, you're helping the real United States of America, and you're helping to decrease a lot of this national debt. Why do you think the national debt never stops rising, right? Why doesn't it? Because we don't know how to pay our bills. We don't know how to discharge. We think we can pay debts with the debt. We think we can use our promissory notes to take care of all the problems, when, you know, the whole power was there right under our noses, right? If we just slow the hell down. They keep everybody so busy. But I make this my job because my poor husband, he's schlepping at a job that I don't want to see him working into his old age at, and I'm telling him, like, I'm learning all this stuff for us. I'm like the family bookkeeper. Make sure I save money, save funds any way I can, okay? And so if you have any downtime, this is definitely the kind of stuff that I was doing, even when I was schlepping at the jobs I didn't like to work at. I mean, I was working at Dunkin', I was working at restaurants, I was working at offices, I was working at a college in the office. It was just crap, you know, and I knew, I'm like, how do other people, you know, how is it easier for certain people, right? And don't they tell you work smarter, not harder? Don't they tell you that? That's what they mean. That's what they mean. Alright? Is learning the system instead of like fighting it all the time, understanding the rule. How do you win the game if you don't even know the rules of the game? We think we know the law, we think we know what the hell we're doing, and most grown folks don't realize you've been doing it wrong this whole time. You know, and this way you can save and you can be empowered, and little steps like this in the right direction just to undo some of the harm is great, because mailings really do add up, and people spend a lot of money, especially certified mail, especially when you do your documents and you need to have the stuff certified mail, you need to have the signature green card. That is like, that could be $5 a pop. And when you're sending it to 3 different people, I mean, I must have spent over $1,000 just on that. And yes, I do have my receipts, and I should send it, right, to the United States to get reimbursed. Well, I have it in a box, and I'm going to figure out what to do with all my said receipts, right? Because people don't understand that a lot of this stuff was supposed to be taken care of, but they didn't teach us how to do this in so-called public school. They just taught you how to be a stupid U.S. citizen, which is a damn slave. It doesn't even apply to us, right? It's actually unlawful to even say you're that. Okay, I'll have to drum up the law that even says that and do another vid, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, nice. That's why people are having a lot of problems and going to prison and being in debt when they don't need to be in debt, when all this stuff can be taken care of with a little bit of studying to show ourselves approved. Okay, guys, so I hope this wasn't too long, and just giving my little 2 cents with common sense, because I care about you guys, and anytime I can help you save and learn something new that can empower you. I know this stuff has been out for a little while, but for any of the newbies, and I wanted to show you where you can find it in the law yourself, right? Find it in the law that yourself. Go into these law libraries. You can download it, you can back it up, take screenshots, you can add this verbiage into your documents, and once they see that you know the law and you're applying it to your personal situation, you're going to be great. This is not a process any one person can teach you. You have to learn from different sources and vet them and make your own documents, because these entities want to see that you did your due diligence to know what you're talking about, because it's all about being competent. Because once you're competent, they won't treat you like a damn minor anymore, right? They won't treat you like a baby. That's how they do it to us, and that's how they, you know, that's how they shit all over our rights, because we basically act like imbeciles, and we do things wrong, and then we get mad at them, we fall into dishonor, and we give them jurisdiction, even by the words that we use, because people won't even stop to look up what does some of this shit even mean. It sounds like English, but it's not. It's legalese, right? Has like dual meanings and stuff. So look up the words, just like what people say to do with the Bible. Look up what the original meaning was supposed to be, right? And you're going to find yourself being very, very surprised. And but once you do it enough times, guys, it'll come to you a little bit better. So this is like with anything else. It's like working out. You got to keep your muscles fresh, you know? This is something that you got to keep doing, because it's easy to get rusty. It's easy to forget, and you don't want to forget, right? Even with this resident term and address, the address term, I really got to get myself more acquainted with. So right here, I'm going to take a screenshot, and, you know, definitely follow my own piece of advice here. But this is all for entertainment purposes. You use it as you will. But remember, anything that anyone's teaching you out there, it's only as effective as you and your discipline and the amount of studying you're going to do to make sure that you can back it up. And in case they give you a little pushback, because sometimes they don't understand the process, you know, and sometimes you do, and if you can't explain it enough to someone else, that means that you yourself don't understand it, and then you got to take a little more time. And it's been taking me years, guys, but I'm finally getting more of an understanding, and I can, you know, I'm putting it into practice, and that's all you need to do is do your own research and show that you took the time to try to figure out the system, and that's how you stay in honor, you know. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you for your time. I don't want to cut out too early. Sometimes when I press the button, it's like I'm still talking, guys. Isn't that terrible? It's like I gotta not talk for what, 30 seconds and then press the button. It's strange. It's a new recorder. But here we are. So we're at 32 minutes. That's a pretty good time, right, guys? So I appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.